everyone. We are Falcon Software Systems, and today we'll be presenting our product 199% certified for perfecting tool approval.
I'm Aruj. I'm the systems analyst for FSS.
I'm Kevin Lee, and I'm the project manager.
I'm Chris Alpia, and I'm the lead tester.
And I'm Aaron. I'm the lead programmer.
So our client is Mr. Kingman, and currently he uses a paper spreadsheet in order to keep track of students that are certified in 199 for their tools. He wants us to create a streamlined process in which a web-based application that's able to view and edit the student certifications for different tools.
And so there are 3 levels of certification that Mr. Kingman wants us to display on our software. And for example, if we have if Mr. Kingman creates a safety test on Canvas and the student does not take the test, then on our software they will be displayed as not certified because they have not taken the test at all. However, if they do take the test and they don't get 100%, then they will be shown as that they need to perform quiz corrections to get become certified. And then of course, if they get 100% on the quiz or test, then they will be certified to use the tool.
So Mr. Kingman has set some requirements for us to be able to implement in our application. Firstly, we have to use the Canvas quiz scores directly from the Canvas application. So this could mean that we have to directly take the data from the Canvas. Additionally, we have to get the Canvas certifications for the tools, 3D printers, and the black and gold card in order to implement into our application. We also need to display the student identification for each student within the application so that students aren't using a different student to verify their own tools. For our non-functional requirements, the software does have to be compatible with Chromebooks and phones because Chromebooks are the main form that students use as Chromebooks and as computers in their class. And we need to prevent against screen captures. And this is especially important to prevent students from taking a screen capture of maybe someone else's student, editing it, and using that as their own tool certification.
Our team stayed organized by following a software project management plan that we wrote, which has the due dates for our deliverables and also risk mitigation plans. We also delegated task to members through Airtable and Discord, and we worked together on the project by calling team meetings on Discord and by contributing code to a shared GitHub repository. Our team followed an agile development model, which means that we would develop a component in multiple phases, and every couple of phases we would ask Mr. Kingman for feedback. And this would benefit our team to get feedback quickly on our components so that we can modify our component if it wasn't satisfying him.
So now that we talked about our requirements and what we need to do, let's talk about how we actually implemented it. So for our front end, we use JavaScript, HTML, and CSS, in addition to Svelte. Svelte is a framework that allows making dynamic components a lot easier. Our 2 major components was a student login that's powered by the Student View API. And second of all, we have a spreadsheet reader which is powered by Google Apps Script.
And so a basic overview of how the student API works in the student login. So when the student opens our website, they'll be greeted with the student login page, and when they enter the username and password, the website will send the MCPS or the username and password that the user entered to the Student View API. And what happens is the Student View API will check to see if that user is they're an actual student on Student View. And if they're not, they'll send back an error message and it won't log the user in. However, if they do, then they will be able to log in. And also, after we send the username and password, we ask for the ID, the photo, the name, and the grade of the student, so we can use that for our website.
Now for our second major component, which is the spreadsheet reader, the process that happens is that Mr. Kingman gives the freshman a safety test on Canvas. He then downloads the safety test as a CSV file, which can be displayed in a tool like Google Sheets or Excel. He then takes the data from the CSV file and pastes into a specific spreadsheet that we gave him. Then using Google Apps Script, which is a plugin that helps add scripting functionality to different Google apps, we take the data from the spreadsheet and parse it into a JSON file. that, we send the data to our actual application, and it goes through the data, tries to find the student we're trying to get the data from, and get its student's test data.
So when the user first comes onto our website, they are greeted by the student login. If you are a student, you can enter your MCPS ID and password and click login to try to access our application. And it checks with our FSS spreadsheet and Student View API to ensure that the information entered is correct before logging you in. Once you're logged in, you're taken to the student dashboard, in which in the top left you can see the clock, which is there for security purposes to prevent against screen captures, as this will dynamically update every single second. We also have the student identification as the grade, picture, name, and student ID in the left-hand corner. And we also have the main information, which is the tools and their certifications. So indicated by not certified, certified, or needs corrections. This data is entered in the spreadsheet, and the application reads that data. If Mr. Kingman wants some help or needs to edit the spreadsheet, he can access the login page by entering the password to the login.
On the admin page, there are some brief instructions for how Mr. Kingman can take the grades from Canvas and export them to a CSV file, and then paste them into our spreadsheet. And then up in the navigation bar, there's a link to a user manual if he needs additional help, and also a link to our 199% certified spreadsheet. Then on the right, we have more instructions for how he has to name the quizzes on Canvas so that they work properly with our program. And then we also included a link to a filled out example spreadsheet for him. And then he can sign out on the sign out button on the right. So after Mr. Kingman copies and pastes the data from the CSV file into our spreadsheet, it'll look like this. So you have the student names, the student emails, and like the assignments for all the grades in the class. So Mr. Kingman's gonna paste the CSV file data into one of these spreadsheet tabs, and these are separated by the two classes that he teaches. And then the program is gonna look through all the assignments and look for the assignments that are named for the safety quizzes, so that it only looks at the safety quiz grades. And then, so after a student logs into our website with their MCPS ID, it'll look for their ID here in the student MCPS email column, and then it'll be able to find their name and also their score for each of the quizzes and assignments. And then it'll calculate their certification status by taking their score for a safety quiz and dividing it by the max score of the quiz.
Okay, and so now to our live demo of our website. So when you first open the website, open our website, this is what the screen you're greeted with. So you can see that I can enter my ID right here and my password. And let's say I enter I miss type my ID, it won't log me in. So if I press login, it will load and it will take me to the tool certification page. And on the left hand side, there's my student information, which is my photo, my grade, my name, and my ID, as well as the clock that updates in every second. And then in the middle section are where all the tools are located. And so each tool has its own tool card, and each tool card includes name, its certification status, and also a photo of the tool. And you can scroll down to view your certification status for all the other tools. For example, in the middle, see that I am for the bandsaw. This is just mock-up data. This is a mock-up data. I'm certified to use the bandsaw, but for the belt sander, I need corrections in order to use the belt sander. So if I can sign out easily just by pressing the sign out button on the top right. And to edit this data, for any admin who wants to do that, then they can click on the admin login on the top right hand corner, and they can enter the preset password. If I enter that. It'll take me to the admin home screen, which has the user manual, which where the nav bar has links to the user manual, which can be read in order to look through a deeper dive in how to use our program, as well as the spreadsheet that Mr. Kingman will enter all the data into. And then, like Kevin said earlier, they have the 2 images for just quick directions on how we want to use our program in case he forgets to and doesn't want to open the user manual just to like go through every single part of the user manual. I can sign out again, just clicking the button there.
Now, to make sure that our product works as intended, we conducted various tests that could help us with that. So the first type of testing we did was unit testing. We tested separate components to check that they work as intended. Then we tested them all together to see if together as a system they would work together. Finally, we conducted a stress test in a computer science class so that we could check that app script was able to successfully query different files to everyone based at the same time. In addition, we also conducted one more test, beta testing. This turned out to be the most important test for us because we found a big problem that allowed multiple students to not be unable to sign in. This problem was caused by the Student View API, and the problem was that so if a student has missing info, for as in our case, emergency contact info, it would just not let them verify. To fix that, we made our own version of the API and changed it so that so missing info isn't required.
And on to the future. The first thing we would like to do to improve our website is just to make it look better on mobile. So like this is like what it looks like right now, and obviously it's not formatted correctly, but our main focus for this current project was to make it accessible on Chromebooks because that will be the most practical use in the classroom since technically PMDs are not allowed. But the second thing is to add an upload feature rather than having Mr. Kingman copy and paste all the data into our own spreadsheet, because this would make it easier for him to update the data. But we also another thing we were thinking about doing was, instead of having to upload any spreadsheet at all, we could actually use the Student View API itself to read the grades from Student View. And so all he would have to do is update the grade on Canvas, and then our program just read directly from Student View itself. So he would have to do no uploading at all. And that was an idea we were thinking about doing, but we didn't have enough time to implement that. So we'd like to look into that in the future. And third, we would like to implement a way to save sort of like a history of the data, so that, let's say like this year's ninth grade class in R&E, they're certified to use the bandsaw, but when they take ADA, maybe in 11th, 12th grade, they don't have to take the test again just to become certified again, right? So we would like want them to be able to be certified throughout the course of the high school year if they're already certified. And then also we would like to implement like an admin search bar on the admin homepage, so that instead of having to log the student in every time just to view certification, Mr. King can actually view any student certification status without having student login. These are our sources. And thank you. Any questions?
So does it only allow like students in Mr. Kingman's class to log in, or can any like MCPS?
So any student can log in, but the thing is, if the person's data doesn't exist, it just is not certified for anything. So it doesn't really happen.
For the current freshmen, like rising sophomores, do their data exist in this website, or are they also just like filled fake?
As of right now, I don't think the data doesn't exist, but if we can dig up past Canvas data, we should be able to implement that.
Okay.
So that Google script, that was the thing that is taking a look at something like, if I named a test scroll saw, but had lowercase s for scroll saw, it's gonna interpret that and
It wasn't like Google App Strip. It was our program itself. But yeah, if you enter like go back to this slide.
as long as I don't put like a 9 or something like that in
So
there.
like these are the names of the tests that like have to be these are like the exact name of the test, and it's just the name of the test, like the name of the tool itself. So yeah.
And the order of the columns doesn't matter?
No, it doesn't matter.
Likes.
Any other questions?
Good job. Okay, please take